Minnesota. They've played 4 times this season, with the Warriors winning 3 of the 4 matchups. But here's the caveat, and it's a big one. This was all before Jimmy Butler was acquired. Moments ago, Steph Curry, he spoke about playing Anthony Edwards and this very hungry Timberwolves team.
I don't know how much you can take away from him. It's just you have to try to make every possession as difficult as possible, not give him, easy looks, knowing that he's going to score. He has the ball in his hands the whole game, but he's tough, and just can't get discouraged if he gets hot. That's what great players do. They have a little bit more of a consistency than we do, probably. Just, I know Dante missed a little bit of time, but most of their guys have been available, but they're just playing way better, and it seems like they're more connected.
Thank you, Mr. Curry. All right, let's dive into this series with our reporter, Massouk, who's covering the Warriors side of all of this. Steph Curry, he may have the most investigated, analyzed thumb in America right now. How's it holding up ahead of Game 1?
Yeah, remember, Malika, when they had a shot out of his hand walking to the plane at the on the tarmac? Fans, of course, zoomed in on it to see how swollen it was, and he said, "What?" When he was talking about that, the feds are on me. We asked him about his thumb. He was asked about his thumb this morning at shoot-around, and he said it's in a great place. But he then was also asked, "Well, is it just a matter of it getting hit again?" And he said, "Yeah, it's almost impossible not to have it get hit again." But he said, "I'm good. I'm good." But he clearly has it taped up. It looks a little swollen, and he's certainly battling through something.
Well, I'm sure it didn't help that the Warriors just had to go through a series that required 7 games and needed a galvanizing meeting ahead of Game 7 that was partly organized by Draymond Green. How is Draymond using that series and what happened as fuel for this one?
Malika, in the 48 hours between Game 6 and Game 7, Draymond Green had to recalibrate himself. He had to have heart-to-hearts with his wife, his old Michigan State coach Tom Izzo, his best friend. He said he went to the spa. He told me he started listening to slow jams. He listened to Jodeci and H-Town. And then he had this team meeting that he told me him, Steph, and Jimmy Butler organized. And during that meeting, he basically said, it was on me about Game 6. I need to lead better in Game 7. I need to control my emotions. I have more poise. He also had a long sit down with Steve Kerr at the morning shoot-around of Game 7, and it worked. And Steph Curry said, look, when he was asked, does Draymond need to show this in the next series? He said, no better example than what he did in Game 7, where he was able to control his emotions. Even when he had that flagrant foul with Fred VanVleet, he wasn't bickering with the refs. He wasn't pouting. Draymond knows all eyes are going to be on him because he's facing his nemesis in the 7-game series. He's going to have to keep his poise. He will be tested this series.
Man, slow jams and kikiing with friends and needing to call old mentors. It sounds like he's going through it, but I'm glad that he is restoring his focus. Massouk, thank you very much. The nemesis that is talking about, it's of course Rudy Gobert, and he spoke just moments ago about matching up with Draymond Green this series. Take a listen.
Obviously, he's Draymond. He's also an all-time great defender. He's gonna be really physical. He's gonna be himself, right? And for me, it's really about being myself and also being physical and doing all the things I need to do to help my team win.
How challenging is that, though? I mean, he's presumably going to try to bait you at different times.
I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Competitive aspect of the game and the physicality and all these things. So I'm excited.
Dave McMenamin is covering the Timberwolves side of this series for us here. Dave, the Wolves are 21-5 since the start of March. What's the one thing that they want to emphasize on the defensive end?
Yeah, it's about hitting the defensive glass. They recognize that the Warriors were a top 5 team in terms of offensive rebounding in the playoffs thus far. And when you see Draymond Green grab an offensive rebound, or Jimmy Butler grab it, or Moses Moody grab it, they're looking out to Steph Curry, to Buddy Hield, to Brandon Podziemski, and getting them wide open looks from 3. And the Wolves want to cut out on that part of the Warriors game. They know that they have the greatest shooter of all time in Steph Curry, but it's not just Steph. As a team, the Warriors made about 15.5 threes per game against the Rockets, 5 more per game. That's 15 points. And if you can cut into that margin, the Wolves feel like they'll have a better chance of sticking working with this team that they respect the heck out of, recognizing their championship pedigree.
Dave McMenamin, thank you so very much. Certainly the glass is something that's quantifiable that all of us will keep an eye on. But these matchups, they've given us something that you can't quite quantify. And that's pettiness and a bunch of fun moments of the past. Y'all remember this?
This is game one, Western Conference semifinals. As Curry does his magic, gets back over there and scores. We got Curry
through. Time to go back to the future of this series. You see what it is?
Yeah, I got you.
Thank you, T-Wolves Warriors. In many ways, this matchup seems to be in the guards' hands. Drea, who are you watching? I'm assuming it's Steph.
All eyes are on the greatest shooter of all time. And when it comes to the Timberwolves, everyone's eyes should be on the greatest shooter of all time. Watch. When Steph Curry gives up the ball, the play's not over. 2 Timberwolves defenders leave the greatest shooter of all time. In this game, Steph Curry had 31 points. He was 7 of 12 from beyond the arc. Look, that was in the first quarter. This is in the fourth quarter. It's a tie game. No one knows where Steph Curry is. And Edwards, where are you going? That is the greatest shooter of all time. When the game is on the line, your habits either help you or they hurt you. There is no in between. And the Timberwolves have to have a habit of knowing where Steph Curry is. He cannot get wide open looks. And in the 3 wins against the Timberwolves, Steph Curry has had 3 30-point games. They have to slow this masterful shooter down.
Yeah, he always puts out masterpieces. Yes, the guards will bring their A game, but for better or maybe for worse, the bigs, they're going to bring the beef. Y'all remember this? The headlock seen round
How could
the
you
world.
forget? How could you forget?
Ever since Draymond won DPOY and then Rudy won a couple after that, Draymond has been going off. I can't believe we have to see this ahead of this matchup, but it's okay. When Draymond has the ball in his hand, it gets better. When he's focused, when he's listening to Jodeci, right? Jodeci. Watch this right here. He loves to ISO Rudy Gobert. This is Steph Curry setting a screen for Day-Day, and he knocks down with a dunk. And then the craziest thing, y'all, he did the night-night. That's Steph's celebration, but he does that because he wants to remind everyone in the world that he is a nightmare defensively. But hey, Rudy Gobert, he ain't no punk. Rudy Gobert on this side of things, honestly, the T-Wolves side of things, he's coming off of his best game ever, arguably dropping 27 points, 24 rebounds versus the Lakers, both playoff career highs. I just hope, can we not just all be friends? Can we be friends?
Why can't we be? Yeah, I got it.
I don't know in this series tonight. That might be too tall of an ask, especially because Anthony Edwards, he wants that smoke. And he's made it a habit of eliminating legends, knocking out Kevin Durant, Jokic, LeBron in the first 3 playoff series wins of his career. And now he has a shot at Steph Curry in round 2. Oh, yeah, he is not holding anything back. Brian Windhorst, Ant is back, the second round for the 2nd straight season. What do you expect out of him in this series that he said he wants? He said, you know what? I want the Golden State Warriors here.
Yeah, so let's see how the Warriors decide to play this coming out of the gates. We saw the Lakers play him more conventionally in Game 4. He let them up for 43, which was a pivotal moment in the series. The Lakers were determined not to let him do it again in Game 5. They started trapping him more than they had the entire series. That is something that Ant struggled with at times during the regular season. He did not struggle in Game 5. He specifically started to move the ball. A lot of the times it ended up in Gobert's hands. They would run high lows with him and Naz Reid. Next thing you know, Gobert's having a career. He's not afraid to use his teammates. He's also an offensive force. He's the #1 thing on the Warriors' defensive game plan. And watching how they handle him out of the gates tonight will be a big indicator of how this series might go.
Yeah, huge question. Are the Warriors going to double him? That is something that I'm going to be watching out of the gate, as well as Naz Reid. He could really be